first thing you got to know is that just because you lift weights a couple times doesn't mean you're going to bulk up and lose your flexibility. It doesn't happen like that. Nobody builds muscle that fast. And if you do figure it out, let me know so I can buy it from you. But here's the thing. I've taught thousands of yoga classes. I've got students, hundreds of students all over the world. And one of the top things I always hear from students, especially women, is that they're afraid that they're going to become super jacked and huge and muscular if they add any working out, right? But simultaneously, one of the other top complaints I hear is how hard asanas like crow pose are, standing asanas, core asanas, and how we need to be super gentle for everyone because these asanas are hard, right? Now, I get it. There's definitely people with legitimate contraindications and for one reason or another aren't able to do a specific asana. But it's also generally true that on average, people are not as fit as they could be or as they were when we had to do a lot more manual labor. When people didn't have modern society, we were all very fit. And if we're going to be honest and talk about real yoga, the people in India who were doing this hundreds of years ago and longer, they were crazy ripped. First of all, because they had to work for every single thing in their life, all of their food. If you have ever been to India or Asia, you will see no shortage of senior age people who are shredded. They are so fit. And that's because they're carrying dozens of kilos of rice all day. They're working in the fields all day. They're carrying kilos of water and food on their head every day, and they have to work the land manually. So this is what life was like for your average person back in the days of real yoga. They were all fit, really fit. And this is why doing asanas and pranayama techniques and other practices that you see in traditional yoga material seem absurd by today's standard. Sitting in lotus for hours. Well, it's not a problem if you don't sit slouched over for hours every day for dozens of years. Yeah, then doing lotus isn't hard because you don't have to undo sitting with poor posture for over a decade. It's simple math, okay? So when we look at the real yogis, they're all fit, they're all in shape. And that doesn't mean that they don't have any curves or any fat on them. It means that for their average day-to-day life, they are strong. I'm in Sri Lanka right now. There are men older than my parents who manually carve logs 200 feet from me. Thankfully, they're quiet right now. These guys, they all have bellies. They have the traditional cloth. That's it. They just wear a cloth around their legs in this 30-degree heat. They have a cloth around their waist. They all have bellies, but their arms, chest, shoulders, back, and legs they make me look small and out of shape. Seriously, these guys are huge. They're insane. I don't know nobody in Canada who is that age who is looking like that, okay? So my point being that yogis actually need physical training more than asana. Now, it is true that you could just modify your asana practice and hold your warriors for 3 minutes each. That's a place you have to build up to. And there's also going to come a point where you can lift more than your body weight, okay? And one of the fastest ways to increase your strength is to lift weights, right? Whether it's free weights or TRX or some other way with weighted plates, it will assist you. There are many different ways to work out, not just with machines at the gym, but there are many ways to work out with extra weight that will dramatically strengthen your body. Okay, so why is this important, right? Why do yogis need to be physically strong and lifting weights and, developing this muscular strength? Well, a lot of the asana practice goodies, the the deeper levels, right? Now, if you just come and do asana practice, of course, you're going to get a lot out of it. You're gonna, learn and progress significantly. Your body's gonna become stronger and healthier, no doubt. But all of that stuff is more amplified when you're physically training. It's just a fact, right? Guess what? Chaturanga is not so hard if you're starting to do forearm exercises, if you're doing shoulder exercises. Ladies, I know you're worried about your shoulders. Don't worry, you're not gonna pop out your shoulders and look like a man. You're gonna tone and get sleek down, and chaturanga isn't gonna be an asana that looks like a transition instead of a proper asana because it's too hard to sit there and hold it. You won't have to put your knees on the ground. You'll be fine. You're not gonna have low back pain because you have extra muscle. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. When you factor in even yoga practitioners that the average person has very poor posture and doesn't even stand up straight, it's because the biggest thing is awareness. It's not muscle, but muscle, I believe, is next on the list. It doesn't matter how much muscle you have, you can still have poor posture, right? Awareness and conscious effort of posture must come first. But I can tell you, as somebody who lifts 33,000 kilos in 90 minutes at the gym, posture gets a heck of a lot easier when you're stronger. It's really simple. Here's another one. Tired of sitting in meditation when it's only been a few minutes? Well, if you have more physical back strength, you don't have that problem. And guess what? When you have the more back strength, it's easier to sit up straight, which means it's easier to do pranayama, which means it's easier for you to get into those deeper states of awareness and consciousness because your physical body isn't exhausted in the same way that people who don't physically work out are. That's the power. This is the game-changing part. You want to be able to do both super easy? Work your quads, work your core, work your glutes, work your chest, and work your back. Boat pose is going to be easy. Want to work on crow? Well, work your back, work your neck, work your shoulders, work your core, work your wrists. Every single asana benefits and becomes ultra easy when you strengthen your entire body. Not to mention all the benefits that come with physically working out, right? Many of which are very similar to asana because in asana you're physically working out, right? But when you add weight, additional weight, that's where the benefits come in, right? It's incredible. This will blow your mind. So much so that I would say physically working out, I've spent the last 13 months actively going to the gym 3 times a week. I take supplements, protein, creatine, BCAAs, all these other supplements and nutrients. And my asana practice was already good before, but now, easy. All the asanas, sthira and sukham, come very naturally when your body is significantly stronger. In any asana, it's not about how hard the asanas are or the sequence or anything like that. It's just when you are physically more capable, you get more confidence, you have more peace of mind, you're more comfortable exploring many different asanas, right? Guess what? When you get a 6-pack and your core is shredded, how much easier do you think it is to do standing back bends when your body knows you have the physical capability to pull yourself back upright effortlessly, right? That's the difference. How much easier is it to be stabilized in handstand when you've got that strong core, when you've got those strong legs, when you've got that wrist strength, right? The body is a magnificent biological machine. It gets better with use. It gets particularly better with stress, eustress. Okay, eustress is a healthy amount of stress that strengthens something. The body thrives off eustress and it shrivels under distress, too much stress, particularly mental and emotional stress. Okay? The physical body will dramatically improve in both health and capability when we add physically strong work. It could be cutting logs. It could be carrying heavy things for a long distance. It could be moving physical weights around, and there's all these different kinds of workouts. But when you are doing something with extra weight that you additionally carry, and you're doing something strenuous, you won't believe the effects that come. Mentally, you are more capable of doing tasks at work or in your day-to-day life. You can handle more quote-unquote stressful situations. They're less stressful because you have intentionally put yourself in a state of doing something that is physically hard and is tempting for your will and your mind to encourage you to quit. But you have to keep proving, right? You all know about the gym and being motivated and, just 2 more reps or whatever. What that does is it makes handling stressful situations in your life so much easier because you've intentionally done something hard before willingly, and now when life gives you that experience, you physically have the strength, which translates to emotional and mental strength, willpower, gut channeling, and you can face those things in your life so much easier. Okay, so this is why I believe every yoga teacher and student should be doing some kind of weights. Not everybody should be trying to bulk and mass, but they should be lifting some kind of weight because the results are on their own incredible. The skill set that is taught in yoga is directly transferable, and physical training, especially for building some level of muscle, you don't have to be trying to get huge, but physical training that builds muscle will directly complement your flexibility and mobility practices in physical asana, right? It's not the end result to be more flexible, I know, but it is an inevitable byproduct of doing asana. Show me somebody who does regular asana and doesn't get more flexible. Haven't seen it. Don't expect to, because it's just a result of what happens. It's part of the benefits, right? So when you have your physical strength training, you strengthen the muscles and you get more of them, right? And you get stronger. Now, the next question everybody's worried about, even though everyone says yoga is not about flexibility, is I don't want to lose my flexibility, right? But guess what? You already had muscle when you started doing asana practice. And muscle is very elastic, right? That means that it can stretch and come back to its shape. Now, when you do asana, you stretch the muscle by expanding it, and then it contracts again, and it's a little bit longer than it was before you did the asana or the individual, or the whole sequence, right? That's what a stretch is. The difference in distance of muscle length before and after the stretch, right? There's a measurable change. It's small, but over time it stacks up. Okay, now here's my point. If your muscle can do that with the muscle that it has when you started doing asana, don't you think your body will also make it do that when you add more physical muscle from working out? Of course it will, right? That's literally what muscle does. It's very elastic, it's very stretchy. And so the point being, yeah, if you only work out and you don't stretch, A, you'll probably get injured, but B, by having and coming from a very active practice that involves a lot of stretching and mobility and flexibility, right? Because you're a yoga teacher or a yoga student, you're coming from that space. What this means is that you already have that muscle flexibility and joint mobility within you. So going to the gym, it's easy to get strong because your muscles are already elastic. And the new muscle that you add is easy to both get strong and stay flexible because you're regularly doing your asana practice, right? If you were to just stop doing any kind of mobility and flexibility training like asana, yes, of course, you would get very stiff from working out, of course. But you don't need to work out to get stiff. You just don't do asana or any other exercise and you'll still get stiff, okay? So the point being that you need to be doing asana. and mobility training, flexibility training. There's more than just asana, but that's what we as yoga teachers typically do, yoga practitioners. So that's how you would benefit from it and be able to work out without losing your flexibility and increasing your physical strength at the same time, right? And I promise you, your asana practice will explode so fast, you'll wonder why you never worked out before. You will see the gains so much quicker in just a few weeks of regular fitness training and asana practice. Your body will completely transform. I promise. Go and do it. And if you want to learn more about how I've done this, subscribe to this channel. I'm going to share more about my journey, more about what we can do as online yoga teachers, and how you can enjoy your life as a yoga teacher and practitioner. I'll see you soon.